market presently, Arsenal is not even going
for victory. That's the truth.
So it's in between.
But is that a sign of a lack of ambition?
No. I wouldn't say that.
About 3 years ago, when I saw the Arsenal team and I felt like they need a goal poacher, they need somebody who can score goal any day, any time from any part of the field, as long as it's in front of the box. And as at that time, we never knew who Gyökeres was.
Yeah.
But we saw Sesko coming in, from IB Leipzig, and we saw that this guy can actually do this. And I advised then that if I were Arsenal, and Arsenal board, that we're going for this guy. As at that time, it was even not what up to
I
this
think
now.
it was in Salzburg.
Salzburg, before he moved to Leipzig. And I said, this guy should be someone they should be going for. And I believe that if you were to be in the team for the past 2 seasons, Arsenal should have lifted the trophy.
We should cut, Arsenal some slack. What do I mean,
After 6 trophyless seasons. The 2024-25 season is now done and dusted, and we are in the postseason. Clubs already showing ambition ahead of the 2025-26 season, and we'll talk about all of that right here on the show today. My name is Ayomide Sotubo, and this is the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. Most certainly, of course, the guys are here to join me in this conversation. Manchester United, well represented by Hogan. And of course, the Gunners from the North London, of course, they are represented by K. Great to have you guys on the show after the season we've had.
Amazing, glad to be here again.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good to be back on show,
Well then, today's edition of the show is focused on the ambition that teams are showing in the market. And maybe we can talk about your sides first. Arsenal, why haven't you made a signing?
Well, it looks like you're trying to, put me on a knife edge or something.
I know it's quite early, but you can see there's the first phase of the transfer window between the 1st of June to the 10th.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's still quite early, but at the same time, we are seeing clubs already, making signings and all that. But from my own point of view, I feel, alas, it's not really about the signings per se or how you get them. It's about the effectiveness. We could see what Chelsea were doing, past season. They were signing 6-7 players, but alas, they couldn't even achieve anything until recently.
Really? But they won the Conference League.
Until the Conference League. But what I'm trying to say in essence is that it's not about how fast you were in signing. It's about the effectiveness of this player we are bringing in. What we need is a striker, and not just any striker that can give us numbers. So you don't just expect that they just go on for anyhow person and all that. So this is the market is just opening, and I think as much as possible should be the time.
Yeah, but I feel that your signings is not just only striker alone, because you have other positions.
Yeah.
So actually, you need a backup plan for Saka. You need a starter for the right.
And even Odegaard.
You understand? Even your defense, because for the past 2 seasons, now I remember 2 seasons ago, Saliba went on injury, and that was the end of Arsenal's campaign. Yeah. And last season too, Gabriel had the same thing, and Kyrgios could not fit into the shoes and many more like that.
I want to disagree with that. This is not to take it away from anyone, but when you look at what Kyrgios did coming into for Gabriel, for me, he did absolutely well. It's not so easy. He's not been playing consistently, and then coming in some of those critical matches. Look at against Real Madrid, fantastic performance.
You know what, guys? Let's take it down this route. Both sides now, Manchester United and Arsenal.
Oh, goodness me.
They need a striker. Both teams. And now there are 2 strikers available on the market that, of course, certainly the big clubs in Europe are looking at. Victor Gyökeres and then Victor Osimhen. Who would you rather have in both?
Well, that's a tight one. If I were to be the technical director for Arsenal, definitely, I won't be looking at Victor Gyökeres, not because of just the numbers, but I've seen the guy play, and I've seen the kinds of goals he scored. I'm not taking away from Osimhen. He's my guy. I love him any day, anytime. But then I feel somebody best suited to us now. I feel Gyökeres will just be the guy for us. But that's my opinion.
But the funny thing is that in the market presently, Arsenal is not even going for
victory. That's the truth.
So it's in between.
But is that a sign of a lack of ambition?
No. I wouldn't say that.
Sesko, I said this about 3 years ago when I saw the Arsenal team, and I felt like they need a goal poacher. They need somebody who can score goal any day, any time from any part of the field, as long as it's in front of the box. And as at that time, we never knew who Gyökeres was. But we saw Sesko coming in, you know, from IB Leipzig, and we saw that this guy can actually do this. And I advised then that if I were Arsenal, and Arsenal board, that we're going for this guy. As at that time, it was even what not what up to this now.
I think it was in Salzburg.
Salzburg before he moved to Leipzig. And I said this guy should be someone they should be going for. And I believe that if you were to be in the team for the past 2 seasons, Arsenal should have lifted the trophy during those times, because he's a goal poacher. And I'll still say the same thing for now too. Yeah, I'll still say the same thing, that right now is in between Gyökeres or Sesko, and I will tell them that they can go for any of them, but they will suit him best.
You know what, guys? Because we don't have a lot of time, all right? Let's look at the wider side of things. Liverpool, Man City also showing their ambition. I personally feel that the league is always won in this period, because you see the big boys going for the best players. Man City already closing in on Tijani Rangers, and also Liverpool, Florian Wirtz, they're following him. Trent Alexander-Arnold has left, and then, you know, Jeremy Frimpong. On the same day that Arnold left, Frimpong was announced. Manchester United too are here and there, got Brian. They are planning to get Brandon Mbeumo, the Cameroonian forward, and then Matheus Cunha has been announced. But if you're looking at how these things are moving, which teams, with the current pace now in the market, which teams do you think will be in the ascendance when the season starts?
Well, like Kayode said earlier, it is too early for us to determine who does well or who do not do well. It depends on how these players are able to get into the
integration,
team, integration into the team, and how they are able to do well. But I know definitely that all these clubs, they've gone for these players because they believe that these players can actually suit it into the team, and not just going to buy for panic sake or the likes. And that is where I have issues with Arsenal right now.
We're not seeing anything.
They are it is too early. But however, you know that in the market today, we have few players who are actually very good that can suit it to your team, and by the time the market is going to the latter end of transfer market, these players become very expensive.
Pressure mounts,
and by the time you start dragging from one club to another, the pressure is now on them. When they come into the team and enter into the team pre-season and all, the pressure is there, and before you know anything, look at how many goals Nunez scored before he came to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And look at the season he came to Liverpool. Look at what happened to him. I believe that it was based on the transfer dragging between 2 different teams and the amount they used in buying them. And you now want to have them.
Well, we have to go. But I'll take your final take. But
just to react to what Hogan just said. From my hand, I think we should cut Arsenal some slack. What do I mean?
After 6 trophyless seasons.
Wait. This is a new guy in town. Talking about the new sporting director,
Andrea Berta.
I want to look at what he's going to do. What he's going to bring to the table. The experience is there. We could see what he did with Atletico Madrid. And so I want to believe that we have somebody who is capable. So I just want to wait and see until the transfer window officially opens.
Well, we'll see if your belief is rewarded. We have to go on this episode of Nutmeg. Thank you very much for watching. And you can be part of the community by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and also tap the notification bells to get all our latest content in and around news in Nigeria. Hogan, Kay, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.